A new week, a new rotation on our vendor items. So we're gonna get right into it. We are at the White House. Let's see what our main vendor has to offer this week. We have the everyday carry. Really cool. I haven't seen this in the store in a little bit. So I'm only gonna go through like the things that I feel are really useful, which this is gonna be our first one. Everyday carry. Named items obviously aren't the easiest to get compared to other items, but everyday carry, which will be our chest piece. You have your brand sets, armor regen, armor on kill, incoming repairs, your core attributes, some armor, your attributes, health and repair skills. You would probably maybe swap out the repair skills, maybe, unless you're running a skill build with this. But then you have your talent, perfectly efficient. Using an armor kit has a 75% chance to not consume the armor kit. Specialization armor kit bonuses are increased by 100%. Requires 10 seconds to arm talent. So that's pretty cool. In a way of, let's say, if you're running summit or doing anything that you have a directive where you won't find armor kits on the ground, or you gotta really go out of your way for your armor kits. I guess this would work if that's the thing you're running for. But yeah, here we go. You have your everyday carry, and then we have our Sig MPX. Nothing crazy here. We have our FAMAS with our max attribute of critical hit damage. So if you need that in your library, this is the way to go. The talent isn't that bad for this weapon actually, because you'd be able to probably max out that health damage core attribute. And you'd have your talent Optimus. Weapon damage is increased by 3%, plus 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. Really isn't a bad talent. Yeah, it's a pretty good talent. And then we move on to our pistol. There's nothing crazy here. We have our Alp Summit, which of course is an okay talent. Okay backpack. Correct myself. The attributes aren't too bad. The talent actually fits with this bag really well, so this wouldn't be a bad purchase if you're trying to run some sort of skill build. This is not too bad, although I'm personally not a fan of the armor kit talents. I don't know, I feel like there's so much more useful talents in those. But then we have our Hasbrook bag, which comes really good talent. Spotter amplifies weapon damage and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. Definitely worth the buy if you need that in your library and you want to put up some little pulse build. This is definitely worth it. Then we have some mods here. It's not bad. That crit damage, extra crit damage isn't too bad on a mod. But this is our basic or our main vendor. Let's make our way over to our countdown vendor since he's right here. See what we get. We have the Surge. I honestly don't think I've ever unlocked this since I've came back to playing, which isn't bad. It comes with the talent Perfect Spike. Headshots grant plus 25% skill damage for 15 seconds. Again, not bad if you're running a skill build. Unfortunately, that attribute, damage to the target out of cover, it's definitely the attribute you probably want, but not that low. Considering the core attributes are pretty high, that's an easy switch if you have max damage to targets out of cover in your library. This is why keeping things in your library very important. Then we have our chest piece Pristine Example, which is pretty cool. You get your brand sets, marksman rifle damage, headshot damage, damage to armor. Not bad. The core attribute pretty low, pretty bad. That would probably be the thing you buff up, because you have double crit on here as your main as your regular attributes, and they're pretty high. That crit chance, if you optimize it, maybe twice you'd have to, 3 times max, which is not bad at all. And it comes with your talent Perfect Focus. Increase total weapon damage by 6% every second you are aiming, while scoped 8 times or higher, up to 60%. So obviously this is probably going to be something where you're running straight damage, not a lot of armor, not a lot of blue cores, so you probably will be at a distance using that 8 times scope and putting in that damage from a distance. Next up we have Swap Chain, our named SMG. Again, the attributes are okay. You have one really good core attribute, one mediocre core attribute, and then again your regular attribute is pretty mid as well. But then you have your talent Perfect Unwavering. Swapping to this weapon grants plus 400% weapon handling for 5 seconds. Kills refresh the buff. Swapping away disables this from all weapons for 5 seconds. This talent works well with this SMG because, well, this SMG is one of those SMGs where tie recoil, very scattered accuracy, so that plus 400% weapon handling helps a lot. So now let's make our way over to our clan vendor. We are at our clan vendor. Let's see what we get. Oh, cool, bandana with headset. This is the first time I'm personally seeing a apparel item or a cosmetic in the store. I'm buying it. This is really cool. Okay. And then we have our named weapon, the Grudge, which is really cool. The core attributes, really good. They're up there. Maybe 1 or 2 optimizations and they're maxed. Your core attribute, damage to target out of cover. This is actually a very good weapon right here. This is really good. This is worth to buy. I might actually buy it right now, to be quite honest. Yeah, let's do that. We get our talent, Perfect Vindictive. Killing an enemy with the status effect applied grants you and all allies within 20 meters 18% critical hit chance and 18% critical hit damage. This is a pretty good weapon right here, especially if you're running a support build. Very nice. And we have our gear sets, Umbra Initiative. Attributes are pretty good, and they're probably the exact attributes you'd want. Again, another really good buy right here. This is fantastic. And then of course Striker, again, another really good buy. These are the attributes you want on Striker, so this is worth it. I'm not going to read through what Striker offers. I'm not doing a build breakdown. But then we have Heartbreaker. Again, this is a pretty decent buy right here. Your core attribute armor is pretty high up there. You swap out that regular attribute with something in your library like crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage, whatever the build you're running. These 3 really good buys right here on these gear sets. Then we have our pistol, nothing too crazy. Our covert SRS, nothing too crazy either, but you have your maxed critical hit chance attribute for marksman rifles, so that's definitely a good pickup right there if you need that in your library. And again, with the Uzina Getika, which again, your max attribute health. I don't know of many people that would use it, but like I always say, I'm a little collector at heart, so I personally like to have the library full, even if it's with things that I'm not going to be using. Then we have our Alp Summit armament, a pretty mediocre set of gloves. Again, a mediocre shotgun, custom M870, nothing crazy there. And our Hanayu Corporation, max crit chance. Again, library, another really good thing. I don't think this even has attributes that you would purchase to keep this, so this would probably be just a library buy. And then again, we have another set of gloves that are okay, and the attributes don't really match what the brand set does, so I wouldn't really spend my credits on this either. But then we have our mods, which for newer players, if you don't have anything high on crit chance, this is pretty good. I feel like these max mods are a little hard to get, so this is a pretty good mod right here. But aside from that, maybe your skill duration is pretty good too. But that's probably about it that I would go out of my way to purchase. So now let's make our way. I believe we hit the vendors that are all here on the White House. We did, so we're going to make our way toward the campus. Alright, we're at the campus vendor. First weapon we have here is the Commando. The attributes are okay. Obviously nothing crazy. They are above the halfway mark, but at the same time, they're kind of just barely above the halfway mark. You'd probably be able to find this at with better attributes, but then again, it is a named weapon, which would be a lot harder to find than, let's say, a regular weapon. So if you want to collect your named weapons, this is your way to go right here, especially if you want to just bring up the proficiency and never use the weapon again. Right here is your grab, and this comes with Perfectly Naked. Hitting an enemy with no armor grants plus 50% headshot damage for 8 seconds. That's pretty good, especially if you're playing those harder to play difficulties, heroic, legendary. You get that armor off, and you could probably finish up that enemy with one hit depending on who the enemy is. It's not bad. Then you have your SRS A1. Again, as you can see, just barely above half. A lot of these attributes not really too worth it. Tactical M249. Nothing spectacular at all with your talent in sync. I feel like we saw that talent last week on like 5 different weapons. So we're probably going to see a lot of the same talents again. For our mask, we have our 511 tactical. Again, talents that are attributes, that are okay. And then yes, the headshot damage is pretty high, but are you gonna use that headshot damage when you look at what the brand set offers? Probably not. And then you have your gorilla holster. Again, it comes with regular attributes that don't really match what the brand set is for. You can see the brand set is kind of more of a tech build, whereas the attributes don't really follow a tech build too much. And then we have our mod, skill duration, not too bad. Burn strength, something I wouldn't really use. Stim efficiency isn't too bad either. Our health, that's pretty low. I wouldn't even bother with that, and I wouldn't bother with this duration either. Alright, so that's the campus. Now let's make our way toward the theater. Alright, we are at the theater. I do apologize if this seems rushed. I got construction outside. I'm trying to get this video recorded before they start with the jackhammers again. But we have our named item, the Firm Handshake. This is actually not too bad. This is not too bad at all. You have your weapon damage, which I would probably max that out. I would probably keep the weapon handling, keep the status effects. And you have your brand set SMG crit and double crit. Not too bad. I don't know where the status effect would fall into that, but it's the beauty of the game. You can make all these different types of builds and mold things together and make things work. So this is definitely worth the buy for those that don't have it. I have a lot of these gloves in my stash, so I'm not going to bother purchasing it. But like I always say, that library, if you need status effects, that's definitely an attribute that's 100% worth having in your library. After that, we have our military M870, which some okay attributes. That shotgun damage could definitely go a little higher. That headshot damage could probably get switched out. Really depends on what you want to do, but it comes with your talent steady hand, which again is probably not as talent I would keep, so this might not be worth the buy. You have SOCOM M1A, which comes with some decent attributes, but again not too high of attributes. Comes with your talent fast hands, which probably works for a marksman rifle. It take a little longer to reload, so it isn't too bad, but then again, who's really focusing on reloading? If you have high damage, you could probably kill your enemies faster before you even need to reload. And we have our gloves, Badger Tough, not too bad. Shotgun damage, total armor on kill as your brand set bonuses. But again, attributes that you're probably not going to be using. Onto our knee pads, the China Light Industries Corporation. Again, you have brand set and attributes that don't really match too well. The headshot damage you'd probably swap out, but then again, who really needs the explosives damage like that? I'm not too sure if that would be an ideal set unless you managed to get all 3 brand set benefits. Now we have our mods, protection from elites. That's not too bad. That's really not bad at all. You have your skill haste, which is pretty good too, plus 5%. You cannot go wrong with some more skill haste. Your shield health, some more skill haste. Obviously, when I'm saying what they are, but you need to look at the images so you know which specific skill that's for. But this is the theater. Now we're gonna make our way toward, I always forget this one's name for some reason, the castle. Alrighty, we are at the castle. Let's get to it. Punch Drunk. Wow, this is pretty good. This is really good. You have your brand set bonuses, pistol damage, stability, and accuracy with a core attribute, maxed weapon damage, regular attribute, maxed headshot damage, and just below halfway your crit chance, which you can obviously just swap that out in your library and you will have a fully god rolled Punch Drunk mask, which this is pretty good. I've actually been thinking about making a pistol build, so we're purchasing this guy. definitely worth the purchase. Now next up, our marksman rifle, we have the M70 Tactical. Some decent attributes like I said before, but doesn't seem like it's anything crazy. It comes with your talent preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 10% of armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair by additional 10. Again, not probably a build I would use. Not a fan of marksman rifles, but if you're a marksman rifle player, this might be a decent purchase to start off. Next up, we have our Stoner LMG. Again, some okay, just a little bit above halfway attributes. If you have the resources to max them out, then by all means go for it. But this comes with our talent Overwhelm. Suppressing an enemy that is not currently suppressed grants plus 10% weapon damage for 12 seconds. Max stack is 4. I'm personally not a fan of suppressing enemies because for all my players out there that know, you can suppress the enemy and they'll stay in that one spot forever. Not a fan of it, but hey, if you're one of those people that play a little slower, a little further away, this might be a decent purchase for you. Then we have our mask, the Overlord Armaments, which has some really good attributes. If you're running a rifle, you have your brand set bonuses with your rifle damage if you're running just one of these, and really good weapon damage, really good weapon handling. That crit chance could definitely get boosted up or swapped out. And of course we have our holster, the Douglas and Harding. Some okay attributes again. I would probably swap out that armor regen, but then again your other two attributes aren't too high or just barely over halfway. Like I said, if you don't have anything to fit a build, let's say if you're trying to run a pistol build and you don't have a holster and you want the holster not be a brand set or anything like that, or gear set, I'm sorry, this is your way to go. Our mods, skill repairs, not too bad. Heal, it's okay. Duration, that's okay. Radius, that's okay. And yeah, these mods here are pretty bad. But now we work our way toward our dark zones. We're going to start off with Dark Zone West. Alrighty, we are at Dark Zone West. Let's see what we get. Ooh, I haven't seen this weapon myself. The Virginian. Okay. We have some okay attributes. The core attributes are alright. A little over halfway. Not too bad. But our the regular attribute would probably definitely swap that one out. But this weapon comes with our talent Perfect Boomerang. Critical hits have a 75% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has 50% increased damage. This is really good. I might have to go back and grind some Dark Zone again like I did last week for the Dark Winter and pick this guy up. Because I might have a feeling this might be somehow Dark Zone exclusive, just like the Dark Winter. And then next up we have the KSG Shotgun. Again, some okay attributes, nothing too crazy. That main attribute not too bad, although you probably don't want headshot damage for a shotgun. And it comes with your talent Close and Personal, which fits the shotgun really well, so it's actually not too bad of a buy. Next up we have our rifle, the USC 45. Again, I don't know what's with all these core attributes being so low. They're so low, but this comes with your talent Sledgehammer. Again, not something I'm a personal fan of. I usually forget that I have grenades, so not something I'd personally go for. Then you have your gear set Heartbreaker, which is really good because your core attribute is pretty much maxed. This is an amazing purchase if you need yourself some Heartbreaker gloves and you like to grind Dark Zone. You have the currency, definitely worth the purchase. Next up, Eclipse Protocol. Core attribute on skill tier is always great because you can't really bring it any higher. There's no modification for it. So if you're running a skill build and your core attribute is skill tier, it's usually fantastic because then you can just swap out the regular attribute with anything from your library, no worries. Another really good purchase here. Next up we have our gloves and our knee pads. They actually same brand set here, Yal Gear, which the gloves themselves are pretty okay if you're trying to run some sort of hazard protection heavy tank build. This might work out for you even though the attributes are pretty low. Same with the knee pads, which the core attributes a bit higher, a bit more useful, but again, those regular attributes, disappointment. But then we have our mods here, pulse resistance. We have our damage. This is actually not bad. I have a few of these. I've always wondered what the max is. I've yet to see a max version of this mod here. But okay, now let's make our way toward Dark Zone South. Alrighty, we are at Dark Zone South. Let's see what we got. We have our... I have yet to see this pistol either. KDI card custom. Comes with your core attributes, 1 skill tier and pistol damage. With your talent Thunderstrike. 30% extra damage to shock targets. You see, if I were someone that grinded Dark Zone heavily and I had an abundance of these resources, I would purchase this twice. One, just to have the talent in my library, because this is not, it is a named item. It's not a perfect, this can't be a named item. I'm a bit confused because the name is in yellow, but the talent doesn't state that it's a perfect anything. Usually your named items have a perfect talent. This is not perfect. I'm a bit confused, especially seeing that skill tier in there. I don't know, really confused. I just came back, so this is some research I'm gonna have to do, but I would purchase this just to have the talent in my library and then keep one, just because this seems so rare to have plus skill tier on your pistol as a core attribute. I imagine this is really good for a skill build. Then we have our tactical UMP 45, and again some okay attributes, but giving you that highlight of that 1 max crit chance if you need that on SMGs. This is definitely a good buy right here for SMGs on the attributes. My only thing is, why are the other 2 attributes so bad? And it comes with your talent Sledgehammer. Again, a grenade talent, not something I'd personally purchase, aside from getting that crit chance in my library. After this, we have our assault rifle, military AKM, some better attributes than most, and it comes with, again, Sledgehammer. Just like last week, the repetition of all the same talents. Move on to our pistol, first wave PF45, mediocre attributes, and it comes with our talent Finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy. Killing an enemy grants 30% critical hit chance and 30% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. Not a bad purchase if you need that talent, but those attributes, no good. Now we move on to our gear set. True Patriot backpack. Coming with some okay core attributes if you're trying to experiment with a True Patriot build. You have the resources, why not? It's right here. You don't have to go out, hit the summit, and have to grind for it. Umbra Initiative holster. Again, some okay attributes. You'd probably end up swapping out that explosive resistance, which then prevents you from swapping out your weapon damage to a max weapon damage. So maybe wouldn't be my purchase. We have our China Light Industries Corporation backpack. Again, some okay attributes, and then again attributes that don't really match the brand set, what the brand set has to offer, and then also what the talent doesn't even match what the brand set has to offer. Talent being Adrenaline Rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Definitely wouldn't be a purchase for me. And as you can see, that rank 7 is off of just donating to get it proficient. I haven't even used this, so if that's what you need, this is your purchase right here. Then we have our Galore chest piece, which again, some okay attributes, nothing too crazy. Probably swap out that skill haste. And it comes with our talent Kinetic Momentum. When in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on cooldown. Stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per skill, lost when on cooldown. Definitely not a talent I would use, so probably not something I would purchase. But then we have our mods. Again, this is pretty good. Critical hit damage, that's actually not bad at all. And some other mediocre mods. Now we make our way toward Dark Zone East. Alright, we are at Dark Zone East, and as we can see, we have 2 named items. Dark Zone East. We'll start off with the Marksman Rifle, the White Death, which have some okay attributes. That maxed core attribute of headshot damage plus 137%. That's amazing. That's amazing. And for those that don't know, the little orange triangle by the attributes, that tells you what you have in your library and where it is. So as you can see, I have all 3 of these attributes in my library and they're maxed. So if you're taking a quick glance at stuff, especially in your inventory, you want to know what's worth keeping to put in your library, just quick glance. Same thing with the talents. You'll see down here that little diamond square with the 3 lines that tells you that's in your library. But the White Death, it's not bad with your max headshot damage, and it comes with your talent First Blood. If scoped, your first shot fired from out of combat or after fully reloading from empty deals headshot damage to any part of the body hit. That's pretty good. You can just grab a foot and you're doing headshot damage. That's not bad. This might be a purchase for me because I personally have yet to unlock this named weapon. After this, we have the Hunting M44 with fantastic core attributes. That's all you need. You swap out that regular attribute maybe to max damage to armor or max damage to targets out of cover, and you have yourself a really good marksman rifle, which also comes with your talent Fast Hands. Critical hits at a stack of 4% reload speed bonus. Max stack is 40. I imagine this is a pretty good talent for a marksman rifle. Reloading tends to be a bit slower. As you can see, the reload time is 3.7 seconds. So that talent fits with this marksman rifle perfectly. Worth the buy. Big Show is our next name item. Again, core attributes are pretty good. Maybe 1 or 2 optimization levels away from them being maxed. You swap out that regular attribute for a maxed one, and you're good to go with the Big Show. And of course, the Big Show comes with your talent Perfect Thunderstrike. It deals 40% extra damage to shock targets. Pair this guy with a St. Elmo's engine or on a status effect build. I imagine you will rain hell on these NPCs. After that, we have our Umbra Initiative Mask, which comes with an okay core attribute of weapon damage, not too bad. Critical hit chance, not too bad. You can swap either of them out and max them out. You'll do just fine with this. This is definitely worth the buy. You have our Future Initiative Holster, which if you're running a skill build, like I say, core attribute skill, you never have to worry about it, and you max out that regular attribute. This is again another good buy for grinding Dark Zone and you have the resources. We move on to our mask, Douglas and Harding mask, with again a pretty good core attribute, 12.2% weapon damage. Your regular attributes are okay. You're probably swapping out that status effect, but I'm pretty sure we found not long before we came here a better Douglas and Harding brand set. Move on to our Bellstone Armory holster. Again, some okay attributes, but what I look for just to make it easier on making builds is, do my attributes match my brand set bonuses? And clearly this matches really well, so this is probably definitely a good purchase. I would just swap out that explosive resistance. Really good. Then we have our mods here, nothing too crazy. They usually don't give us any mods that are too crazy because that'd just be too easy, right? But this is Dark Zone East, and this is probably the best vendor so far. Thinking about it, 2 named items that are definitely worth the purchase, some decent gear sets, a non-named item that's definitely worth the purchase. This is a really good vendor, Dark Zone East. Keep your eye out. But not last but not least, we move our way over to NYC. Here we are in New York. Last but not least, let's see what we get here. We get our Black Market T821. Some pretty good attributes. That SMG damage is up there. That crit chance is pretty good. Headshot damage is actually not too bad. And it comes with our talent Thunderstrike. 30% extra damage to shock targets. I would probably swap that out. even though I probably wouldn't use this weapon, but it's always fun to swap things around, try new weapons out, see how they feel during gameplay. So if you want to test this guy out, this is definitely worth the purchase right here. Next up, we have our marksman rifle SR1. Some really good core attributes. You probably swap out that regular attribute, put something a bit better on there. But then again, it comes with the talent, something I'm usually not a fan of, which is dealing damage with grenades. I don't know, having to rely on grenades from my weapons to do more damage. I'm not a fan of those talents, so that's probably something I would swap out. But then again, you're missing out on swapping out that regular attribute. So it's a little sticky one here, but up to you to decide. Is it worth it? Next up, we have our rifle ACRSS with some okay attributes. That those core attributes are a little low, but being that the regular attribute is pretty high, this overall together is not too bad. And it comes with our talent preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 10% of armor over 5 seconds. Headshot improved. This is really good. This is really good. I think this is a purchase that's worthwhile right here. Next up, we have a Police 686 Magnum. Some okay attributes, nothing too crazy. And it comes with our talent perpetuation. Headshots grant plus 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. Probably not something I'd have on my pistol, but then again, who knows? I personally don't think it's a good purchase. Next up, we have our chest piece Overlord Armaments. Some okay talents attributes again. The brand set kind of matches your attributes here. I'll probably swap out that skill damage and you'd have a pretty good brand set aside from that the talent. Fishy things again. Do you want to swap out your attribute or your talent? Becomes a little difficult there. I don't think I'd purchase this one. Next up, we have our Group Sombra SA knee pads. Again, attributes don't really match what the brand set has to offer, so I don't think I would really purchase this. And I'm usually looking at the first thing the brand set offers. I'm rarely wearing more than one item from a brand set. I haven't hit that build process yet. I'm usually relying on the gear sets and then complementing the gear sets with exotics or brand sets. Next up, we have our Murakami Industries holster. Again, what we were just talking about, attributes don't really match the brand set bonuses too much. Definitely not something I would purchase. We move on to our mods. Again, another crit chance, which isn't too bad. I believe it was the same exact thing too, 4.7%. Another one. We're seeing a lot of duplicates here. This is probably really good right here. These repair charges +4. You're playing on legendary or heroic. You need those extra little boosts of armor. This is definitely a decent purchase right here. But this is what we have. This is our new weekly vendor resets. Some really good items to purchase, so please go out of your way. Don't just watch this and decide. Go into your builds, go into these vendors, see what works. Even if you have that build in mind and you're like, I wanted to work on that, buy it. At least it's guaranteed now, and next week you won't have that chance. And don't forget to go to your projects and get your weekly exotic caches, and of course your guaranteed one. You're just donating items here. Don't forget this goal. And of course, if you're grinding Summit, you have your exotic cache. Easy on normal, you rock that out maybe a half hour or so. And if you have people to play with, or if you have strong enough builds, don't forget your legendary mission. But that's all we got for this week. I hope you enjoy. Your builds. The building process is extremely fun. If you have any questions or even have advice that you can give me on my builds, please don't be afraid to comment down below. Let me know if you liked the video by giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you all on the next one.